Today in the Rev Cooks, the Rev Grills. What's the Rev grilling? The most amazing chicken you've ever had in your life. Daddy's chicken. All right, welcome to the Rev Cooks. Today, we're making Daddy's chicken. This was the very first of these great family recipes that was made and kind of tinkered with to like perfection, if that's even possible. I've been making this chicken since the boys were like really young. We used to add a little food coloring in it to kind of give it these vibrant colors, and as they grew older, we decided that we didn't need the dyes, so we got rid of the dyes and that. But the fact of the matter is, this is one of these recipes that anytime we have people over or we were going to take a meal to somebody, I'd ask my wife, like, hey, what should we make? And it was always your chicken. It was like the obvious. So super easy, super simple, super delicious. It's probably in the top 3 of the things that I make. And those top 3 will eventually have videos on all of those guys. But they're kind of the reasons why we started making these videos, because the boys were asking, like, well, how do you make all this stuff? So it's really sort of for them. So this is the first of the top 3 of these recipes. So Daddy's chicken, we're gonna start by making ourselves the marinade for it. So let's get going. All right, so the key to Daddy's chicken is really this marinade. It's really actually a brine, if you want to get technical. So you got to start this a day ahead of time, which has been a complaint of others I've given the recipe to, namely my father, who is now since deceased. But one of the things he said to one of my kids was, well, I don't really like your dad's chicken because it has to start, you have to start it a day ahead of time. Well, then don't make it, bro. Or just marinate it for a few hours. I like to kind of give it a nice long marinade. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off with 3 cups of water. This recipe can easily be scaled, up or down from here. I'm making this time for all 4 of us. Our youngest son is coming home this weekend for a visit from college. In fact, if you watch any of my hiking videos, James, he's the one in a lot of those videos that I do with the hiking. He's my hiking buddy. So I thought, he's gonna be coming home for a little visit. So let's go ahead and make the Daddy's chicken, and because it's one of the favorites, and it's easy. So 3 cups of water. To that, we're gonna add 6 teaspoons, which is really 2 tablespoons of salt. This is what makes it a brine. So you can really do this in any kind of salt that you'd like. So 2 tablespoons of salt here. It's kind of a lot of salt, but that's what makes it a brine. We're not drinking this. It's not like the end of the world. And a little bit of salt in your diet is okay. So 2 tablespoons of sea salt. I'm using sea salt. You can use pink salt. I've done that. You can use just iodized salt, whatever. And then 1 tablespoon of fresh cracked pepper. I went ahead and cracked it this time ahead of time because I didn't think you wanted to watch me with a pepper mill for like 5 minutes grinding up a tablespoon of pepper. So 1 tablespoon of pepper, okay? And what we're gonna do then is we're gonna put in the garlic. So you can use fresh garlic, as much or as little as you like. The garlic really is the sort of the magic that happens here. But it says that on the recipe that I've got here that, 3 cloves of garlic, 4 cloves of garlic. You can use fresh garlic. I'm too lazy for fresh garlic most of the time on this, and it's just as good with the sort of pre-granulated garlic. So I use a lot of garlic. That's probably more than most people like, but it's just so yummy. So why wouldn't I use more of that, okay? Once we got that garlic added in, we're gonna put the top on this guy, and we're gonna blend it for 15 seconds. The reason we do that is if you have fresh garlic, you want to chop the garlic up with this sort of ground or minced garlic or whatever, you want to chop that up as well. So 15 seconds, let's do it. All right, so that's got a nice mix there. It's a little bit frothy. We do like the froth in this. That is part of the recipe. that you want that nice frothiness there. That tells you you're kind of on the right track here, okay? Now to this, we're gonna add the juice of 1 lime. So limes do, of course, vary in their juiciness, so you wanna kind of gauge it a little bit. Typically 1 lime is good enough, so we'll give ourselves, oh yeah, that's got a good amount of juice. So we're gonna go ahead and just stick with the 1 here. So that's half. And there's the whole, so juice of 1 lime, okay? And then the other magical part of this, 3 tablespoons of pineapple juice. So you can use fresh pineapple juice or whatever. I just use canned pineapple juice. The irony of this is that I'm actually somewhat allergic to pineapples, but this is so good that I eat it anyway. I just know that I'm gonna have some manner of discomfort with this, but it's all good. So 3 tablespoons of pineapple juice. There we go. Okay. And then we're gonna give that just a little 5 to 6 second spin on that to get all those flavors mixed together well. Okay, so let's do that. Again, nice frothiness there. Then what we're gonna do is that's our marinade. We're just gonna pour it into our chicken here. I put it into a bag of chicken. So this is 4 pounds of drumsticks. We like the drumsticks for this. I've done this with thighs. I've done it with breasts or whatever. You want the skin on because we're gonna grill these guys. And so when you grill it with the skin on, it gives this nice crispy outside. You can do it with the skin off as well, but whatever you wanna do. So again, we prefer the drumsticks here. You can use a good quality chicken if you want, organic, conventional. That's just a personal preference. Make sure you get as much air as you can out of that guy. So I put my marinades into a plastic bag like this. Some people put them into a bowl or a dish or something, whatever works for you. And then I actually double bag it because it does have a scent to it a little bit. And also, since it's gonna be sitting in the fridge for a while, if it happens to leak, I don't want it leaking all over my fridge. So take this guy, pop him in the fridge for at least several hours. I'm gonna go overnight with this, and so I will see you tomorrow when we're gonna get ready to grill these bad boys up. Okay, so it's been 24 hours. Our marinade was sitting in the fridge there. So what I've done now is I've poured out the liquid of the marinade, and I'm gonna let it sit out to basically come to room temperature-ish, so that's not as cold when we put it on the grill. So I'm gonna put it on the countertop here, and then I'm gonna go start up the grill to kind of get it warmed up and stuff, and then we're gonna put these bad boys on and get them all cooked up. All right, so we're preheated here. Our chicken's been sitting out for 15-20 minutes. It's still pretty cold, but it's warmer than it was, and that's kind of what we're looking for. We don't want it to be like sort of a system shock here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn our heat down to like a medium to medium high. It doesn't like make a massive difference because barbecues in general just cook hot. What you're gonna wanna do is spray a little cooking spray of some sort along the grates here, just so that it's not like gonna stick real bad, okay? And then we're gonna go ahead and just put our chicken right on the grill. Now there's a few tricks along the way here that I'll show you as we go, but I'm gonna put a glove on so that I can just grab this stuff with its raw chicken blood, okay? So I'm just gonna put these guys in like a vertical format here, like soldiers off to battle, if you will. This guy's got a little broken leg. Those always cook up kind of funny. All right, so I'm gonna put these guys on here. Like so. This is gonna take a couple of rows. As I said, this is like 4 pounds of chicken here. You can see all the nice spices on, well, not really spices, pepper on these guys. Okay, so there you go. And on this grill, I'm also gonna put, we're having this for dinner tonight, so a little bit of a side here. So this is just some asparagus with a couple of pats of butter and some garlic. I'm gonna pop that on there as well, just like that. And then that'll cook as we go. So we're gonna close this up, and you're gonna cook this for 30 to 35 minutes on this temperature. It takes a lot of moving around. You're gonna have to be sort of working the grill a lot to do that, because they can burn very quickly. I typically end up burning it a little bit, but you know, it's not the end of the world. I mean, it's just so yummy, but I'll sort of show you as we go, kind of like how you deal with all of that, because there's sort of a method to moving the chicken around that I use. So we'll let this cook for just a couple minutes, and then I'll check back in on our first flip, and we can kind of see what we're doing. Okay, so like I said, this does require a lot of maintenance. It's only been on for a couple minutes here, but you can kind of see the skin getting a little bit of a browning underneath. So just a few minutes in, I like to give it a turn, and you can see there's already a little scoring on that, and that's good. But you're gonna have to do a lot of manipulating here. This guy is gonna be a problem, I can already tell. And you gotta know your grill. I am not like the greatest with knowing my grill. You gotta know its hot spots, its cold spots. But this is a very active barbecuing meal. This bro is gonna be in the way, so I'm gonna move him up there for the moment. That's just veggie, so it doesn't have to cook all the way through. If it doesn't like get to that, not a big deal. A little bit of sticking here still, but that's fine. So, but you gotta, like I said, you gotta be kind of like really active and involved in the cooking process here, because it's gonna kind of cook on the outside quickly, and then what we're gonna do at some point soon is we're gonna move it to the top rack and kind of monitor the temperature, because at that point it's gonna continue to crisp up the skin and continue to cook as we go. But for the very first couple of rounds there, I like to do that. This guy, I'll go ahead and give him a little flip there. And I like to also sort of warm these guys up, the tongs, after the first flip, because it does have some like raw chicken and stuff that was touching it. And a lot of people don't like worry about that. I'm a little bit more concerned about some of the stuff. So I kind of warm that after the first flip, so it's got a nice heat coming off of it. That cooks off any of the possible contaminants. So I'm gonna let this sit for another couple minutes, and then we're gonna make another turn. All right, so I just opened this guy up again here, and you can see a little bit of blood coming off down here on this guy. That's fine, whatever. So the outside portion has kind of a nice initial sort of cook on it, so we can now just sort of work it from here. So like I did say, it's a lot of effort here, but some things are worth the effort. Like the cooking is the cooking, right? So the marinade itself, as you saw, was very easy. So now it's just a matter of getting this guy all cooked up. So not a big deal, but like it's a lot of fiddling around. I don't mind it, but you see how the skin right here on that guy, see he's already starting to crisp up a bit. Okay, so that's good. It's gonna get real dark, sometimes burned, and that's all right. I mean, yeah, that one's nice and crispy there. So yeah, you just kind of keep doing this. Turn this guy. Eventually this guy's gonna go to the bottom rack here, and these guys are gonna go to the top rack, but we're not at that point yet. So I'm gonna kind of keep working these guys every few minutes until they get to a nice golden sort of a brown all the way around, and then we'll move it. So we'll check back in when that's the case. Okay, we're about 15-20 minutes in. It's a little bit of a colder day here today. It's in fact a little bit of sprinkling going on. So that does affect your grilling times, because obviously if the outside temperature is colder, it's harder for your grill to keep warm, especially every time you open it up. But nonetheless, what you're looking for at this point is you're looking for these guys to have a nice, deep golden brown on really sort of all sides. So at that point, what happens is I'm gonna move it to the top here. So because if we leave it down the bottom for too long, you will definitely get some severe charring on your chicken. So we want it crispy, but not like destroyed. So I'm gonna take these guys and do a little stagger method here. Move them to the top rack. I mean, this is just a sort of the way I go about this. You cook your chicken however you cook your chicken, but this is what I do, and I like it for this, for the daddy's chicken. So I'm gonna take those guys and turn them and put them up top in this little stair-step pattern here. The part of the reason I do that is because I kind of fit more on here if I have a lot. I've cooked like 10 pounds of chicken, this chicken at times, for a family that we knew that had, like a literal dozen children. and they needed a meal. So it's you know, there's a, yeah, this guy, I told you this guy's gonna be an issue, but that's all right, whatever, it's food. So it's a little bit of the sort of grill management stuff here, so it's a little bit of a pain, but like I say, see this nice golden coloring here, and you just gotta keep working it. Every couple minutes, keep turning it to kind of keep it from burning. We're gonna go ahead and give this a flip here. You can do whatever you want for sides, obviously. I've done, you know, corn on the cob here, or like I said, asparagus this time, or whatever you want, all kinds of different vegetables. And I kind of suggest doing some sort of a side that's a vegetable that you can cook on the grill as well, because it's a lot to manage the chicken, so you can kind of manage your vegetable at the same time. If you want to do other things, like tonight we're having mashed potatoes with this, like fresh mashed potatoes, so I've got to sort of manage the inside as well. You may need a little help or something like that, because you're going to be manning the chicken a lot so that it doesn't burn. But you do what you want as sides, but I'm just saying, like, you know, you got to keep an eye on the chicken. You let it go too long before you check on it or before you turn it, you're going to get some real serious charring on it. So I'm going to keep go ahead and work in this guy, and we'll check back in as we go. All right, so we're about 20-25 minutes in here, and you can start seeing some real progress here. In fact, if you can see, there's some juices here on this chicken, and it's kind of running clear, so that's good. And it's getting this nice, deep golden brown color. Here, I'll show you on this guy. Look at that. A little bit of charring, a little bit of deep golden brown, steam coming off it. That's all good. So the thing about this is that every time I cook this chicken, I'm reminded of one time we had some family members over, and there was some young kids, and I cooked all this chicken up, and you know, I've done this chicken a lot, and I got you know, we're sitting down to eat, and I got the comment like, are you sure the chicken's cooked? To which I thought, how many of the other family members do you ask that question to? Like, yeah, I mean, of course I know the chicken's cooked, but if you're concerned, you can always use a meat thermometer on it. But I feel like with this chicken, because it's been in a brine for a day, that it's really kind of hard to overcook it, because the salt in the brine kind of like keeps the chicken very moist. So if you're concerned, you can kind of always just like overcook it, if you will. But I figure it's usually the 30 to 35 minute mark is usually very good. You'll know as soon as you know, bite into it and you see whether or not it's pink inside. If you need to sort of tear one apart, you can do that too. But we're going to kind of keep going with this. We're about done. You got to be kind of careful again of the color, because it can get dark, real dark, and too dark too quick. So we'll check back in when we're pulling these guys off. All right, about 35 minutes in here, these guys are done. You can see when you open it up, there's like some bubbling on the inside there, so all the juice is running clear, so that's good stuff. So if you're a little bit concerned, obviously you can let them go a little bit longer. Little small pieces, this guy's definitely done. They're gonna get, as you can see, pretty well charred in spots, but it's just delicious crispy skin. You don't have to have the skin on, obviously, if you don't want. Here's this wonky guy. He's a little bit overly burned, but that's okay too. You know, like I said, if you don't want to have skin, you don't have to have the skin on, because it's really your personal preference, but we like the skin. It's this nice, deliciously golden, crispy skin. It just really ups the texture and the flavor of this stuff. I mean, it's really, you got to try this recipe. As I said, this is like in that top 3 things of all time that I've ever make for the family. It's always wildly popular, and it's not super hard to make. I mean, you just got to know how to work a grill. But look at all that chicken, man. So there we go. I'm gonna give my asparagus one last turn. These guys are gonna stay hot for a while. In fact, they're gonna be real hot. So you're gonna let them cool for a little bit before you eat them. But I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to eat. Well, there you go. The original Rev Blake Dog family favorite. This guy's been in the recipe book for a long time, so I really, really hope that you give it a go, because it's just so worth it. So in any case, until next time, enjoy.
A Rev Blake Dog production.